And good afternoon, and welcome to today's Section 5 Class 4A quarterfinal matchup between the number 7 seeded Osseo Orioles and the number 2 seeded Centennial Cougars. Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Walsh for North Metro 15, and we're glad you're joining us today as the playoff season begins, the second season, if you will, as Osseo taking on Centennial, and these two teams looking to finish a playoff season. Of course, we've talked about it a lot over the course of the year, as these two teams, as well as every other team, did not get to finish their state and section tournaments in some cases, and so everybody looking forward to playoff season here starting today. I'm Nick Walsh. Joining me today is Blythe Whaley, and Blythe, we've talked about it all season, but to get to this playoff area and now to be able to work to accomplish whatever they started in the regular season is going to be so rewarding regardless of who wins, who loses. It's just good to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Both these coaches, they're just talking about how the ladies are just happy to play. They're on the courts. That's all that matters at this point. And, of course, every team wants to win, and it's a do-or-die situation. The Cougars last year matched up with the Orioles in this quarterfinal. Same thing last year, but the Centennial Cougars ended up on top, ending the Osseo Orioles season. But, of course, again, who knows? It's a new year. Everything can change. And this year, in that first matchup, it was within 8 points at halftime.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where regardless of what happens, it's not just another game, because this is the game that changes your season. This is the game you either begin it or you lose it. I wanted to first correct myself. I said it was the 2-7 matchup. This is the 1 versus the 8 matchup. So Osseo, the number 8 seed, and Centennial at 17-1, the number 1 seed. So I want to correct that. The winner to take on the winner of Champlin Park and Park Center. That's going on in Champlin right about now as well. So the winners will take on each other next Tuesday at the home seed. So if Centennial should win, they would be here at Centennial, and if Osseo would win, it would be at either Park Center or Champlin Park. As we are set to go, Jenna Geyer to take the opening tip against Araya Mitchell. And we are underway as Centennial quickly down the court. As Sydney Cubes will try a 16-footer. That's no good, but the rebound by Jody Anderson, and she'll go to the line. Starting 5 for Centennial: Sydney Cubes, Jody Anderson, Camille Cummings, Marissa Frost, and Jenna Geyer. And for Osseo, Alea Wilson, Tamia Brack, Ava Holman, Araya Mitchell, and Anna Corona. And Jody Anderson to the line. First foul of the day called against Araya Mitchell. And Anderson, the 5'11 senior, goes to the line, and 82% free throw shooter.
Yeah, Cougars off to a strong start, just in the sense that they got up the court, they got that first opportunity. And when you think about this, most of these teams, they haven't had too many afternoon games, so to have to wake up and get that pregame routine in versus having a 7 p.m. game, which has been the typical throughout the season.
And full court pressure here, and we've got a whistle and a stoppage. I'm not sure if the clock started or not, so we will hold on this momentarily while they work on the clock. Still at 17:59, and of course we're a few seconds that tipped off. Not many. The Cougars got down the court very quickly, so they're only going to take 3 seconds off, and now we're underway. As it'll be Corona to inbound the basketball. 5'8 senior guard for Osseo. And up to the top for Alea Wilson, a 5'8 sophomore. This is a young team for the Osseo Orioles, as Corona is the lone senior in the starting 5 for Osseo. Ava Holman at the top of the key. And now giving off to Wilson. Over to Tamia Brack, and the ball is loose and on the ground in Centennial. Up the court now for Camille Cummings. Anderson trying to get it inside to Geyer. And now there's Geyer going in. Can't finish, but the rebound underneath by Cube. And did she step on the line? She did. I wanted to mention, talking about the youth of Osseo. Their two leading scorers are Alea Wilson and Ava Holman. Wilson is a sophomore, averaging 17.9 points per game. Holman is a freshman, averaging 15.8. So 2 and 16 on the season, but a lot of youth there to potentially work with going forward.
Yeah, which is exciting for their program in the years to come. And something interesting, too, both these teams, if you're Centennial, you know that in the last game you matched up, you won by, I believe it was 28 points. And so coming into a game like that, you want to make sure, how can you still have the impact that you do in games so that you have that moving forward? If you are the team that moves forward today, you want to have that quickness and tenacity going into these next games in a playoff round. But also, you want your other players on your team to get those minutes. And in that first matchup, they were able to allow some of those bench players some minutes. And it's exciting for a program to be able to allow some of those ladies to get some time on the court.
Cummings with a bucket and then a steal, but Centennial can't capitalize, and now the full court pressure for the Cougars. Osseo breaking it nicely, but the shot there no good, and here comes the Cougars again. Up by 4, first 2 minutes of today's section quarterfinal matchup. Oh, left wide open is Anderson, but unable, and now the rebound tipped away, and Anna Corona with it. Early lead for Centennial. As you mentioned, a 28-point win, 77-49 over Osseo in the regular season. As Holman into the paint, double team, and she'll draw a foul.
Rechecked my math, 27. 45-18 was the second half points.
And the first one no good there. Osseo coming in a record of 2 and 16, 2 and 11 in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Check that. It was a 35-point win, 79-44, and outscoring Osseo by 27 in the second half, as you mentioned. That's where the 27 came from. As Anderson, quick pass underneath now to Frost. Solid defense here for the Orioles to start this game as Cubes getting it inside. Found a weak spot though, Jenna Geyer, and she scores and makes it 6-0. And the pressure backing off now for the Cougars. Inside, and another foul is called, and second time in a row that the Orioles have drawn a foul as Wilson able to get underneath and draws a foul against Jenna Geyer. I think that could be the one trouble spot potentially for the Cougars if they would get into foul trouble here today.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's a good point. As Osseo is able to take it to the hole, and they have those players that can, as we mentioned earlier, you were saying, Nick, and so if those ladies take it to the hoop, that could be a huge, hazard here for Centennial.
1 and 2 for Wilson. Holman and Wilson each with a point here so far. Frost into the corner now for Cummings. And Geyer now finding Anderson in a nice little weak spot again, finding it in that defense, and it's 8-2. There's Anderson with 4 of the 8 points for Centennial so far. Rack sends it into the corner now. Corona lobs it over the top for Wilson. Centennial extending that defense way out past the three-point line here. Aggressive as Holman gets inside and scores. The 5'8" freshman, as we mentioned, averaging almost 16 points per game, and that's the first field goal of the day for Osseo, and the lead cut back to 4.
Yeah, they don't want to let her get going, having the high for a single game for her, 25 points.
And Geyer, they just move the ball around until they find a weak spot in that defense. It's good ball movement and smart play there by Centennial. Here's Corona for three. Averages just 4 points per game, but hits the first triple of the day for either side, and it's a 10-7 game.
Yeah, pretty fun to see the Orioles coming out and putting up a fight in the early minutes.
As Camille Cummings answers with a three of her own to make it 13-7.
Yeah, she's drained 16 threes this season, so fun to see her get her 17th early.
And now Brack with a three attempt, no good, but a long rebound by Wilson.
Get to see some good composure here by the Orioles, getting to just try to find that good open shot.
Oh, beautiful play there underneath. And Mitchell scores the first points of the night for her. She just averages 2.4 a game, but a really nice design play there by Osseo.
Yeah, great patience. It's exactly what they wanted to do.
And Marissa Frost on the other side answers with a three-pointer of her own. And Osseo's done some nice things, but they're still down 7, and here's a turnover. Frost in the corner now, and inside to Geyer. A little turnaround will go, and Jenna Geyer already has 6 points tonight as Centennial now up by 9.
Wonderful ball movement to get it into Geyer.
As Holman, check that Corona, will try a three, and a rebound underneath by Cubes.
She averages 5.5 rebounds a game, definitely contributing there.
Geyer, too strong, was affected by the defense, and here comes Wilson. Oh, Euro step, we lost the basketball. Let's say it was deflected, and a little underhanded layup. Nice play by Alea Wilson, who has 3 in the game now, 18-11, and we've got a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, I gotta like that. The Orioles showing some spark here in the last few minutes.
Well, and you can see some of the athleticism from the players, the younger players for Osseo, Alea Wilson, and also Ava Holman. It's been impressive so far, as it was Osseo who took that first timeout. And so that gives us a chance to take a look at that Section 5 Class 4A bracket, as I mentioned erroneously at first, but got it right on the second effort. Centennial, the number 1 seed, Osseo, number 8. Below them is Champlain Park, the 4 seed, and Park Center, the 5 seed. They're playing right now, as are Mounds View and Spring Lake Park, and that's actually a game also on North Metro 15. Mounds View, the number 6 seed, Spring Lake Park, the number 3 seed, and then Irondale at Roseville as well. Irondale, the number 7, Roseville, the number 2 seed. And as I mentioned, the semifinals will be on Tuesday, and then the section final will be there on Thursday. All the games at home seeds, so no tournament venues because of COVID-19 protocols. So Centennial has a really great opportunity not only to be the top seed in this section, but host all of their games. They get to be in their own locker room. They get to play on their home court. They know the rims. They know, all those things, the basketballs, and those things can affect things, particularly come tournament time.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. It just helps when you have that routine of how you prepare for a game, and they're able to have that consistency.
There's Geyer losing the basketball, and a turnover as Corona picks it up for Osseo. 7-point lead for Centennial. 11.5 to play here in our first half. Nick Walsh alongside Blythe Whaley here on a Saturday afternoon. As Holman.
Yeah, so if we mess anything up, it's because it's an early game, too. We're awake earlier than normal for a game.
As Corona can't finish it up. I use that excuse for a night game, let alone an afternoon game. Just got up. It's okay.
Yep.
That's Frost. That zone defense for Osseo, a little different. You're looking for space. As Geyer has found that space with 8 points so far in the first half, and it's a 9-point advantage, 20-11.
Wonderful feed there by Mulberry, finding Geyer wide open there in the lane.
Holman weaves in, off the bank, no good. There comes Centennial again as Anderson Gets it back now to Haley Mulberry, who's into the game for the first time, our first substitution. As Frost can't finish, gets the rebound, can't finish the second time, and Holman the rebound for Osseo. Quickly up the court is Brack ahead of the defense, and she'll draw the foul as Mulberry will be called from behind.
That speedy transition here by the Orioles. If they can keep that up, I mean, Centennial needs to make sure they're getting back on defense.
So Mulberry called for the foul, and Brack missing the free throw. Already 4 missed free throws for Osseo. It's been a bit of a struggle from the free throw line. 1 or 2. Maybe we're watching Ohio State in the second half of Friday's NCAA tournament game, losing to the 15 seed Oral Roberts. And I think they were 9 of 18 from the free throw line or something to that extent, as Geyer will go to the line. Alea Wilson will be called for the foul.
Yeah, you see that importance in all levels and all ages in their games. Just when you get to that free throw line, those are your easy points. You want to be able to sink those and possibly help you stay in a game or go ahead.
It's amazing the little things that always come back. It's rarely, this one no good, the rebound underneath for Osseo. On the far side is Wilson. I think that's number 45, Lena Sampe, who got the rebound. We do not have a 45 on the varsity roster, so dipping into JV. As this is Corona, 3 is no good, and Geyer the rebound. Far side, this is Anderson, no, but Geyer, yes. Geyer already into double figures now. 22-12, a 10-point lead.
Yeah, Geyer, good positioning, but if you're the Orioles, you want to make sure that you do get those rebounds to not allow them to have the second chance opportunity as you try to climb back in.
First time this game has been into double figures. And that's a travel. Caught the basketball and then a little crow hop. Yeah, it's amazing to finish my point. The little things. It's rarely the last second miss. Everybody remembers those last second shots that you missed, but it's usually something long before that you can maybe attribute why you win or lose a game, and it's free throws, it's turnovers, it's defense. You know, everybody remembers that last second make or the last second miss, but that just happens to be the shot that is right before the buzzer. There's a lot of reasons why teams win or lose, and Ohio State, for instance, if they hadn't missed a bunch of free throws in the last 5 minutes, they wouldn't have had to worry about overtime or a last-second shot or anything like that. As that one off the foot of a Cougar, off the missed 3 from Cummings, and it'll be Osseo basketball.
But for the fans, it sure made an exciting game.
For sure. And if you're from parts of Oklahoma, much more exciting for Oral Roberts than if you live in the greater Columbus, Ohio region.
Absolutely.
As this 3 no good from Holman, and here comes Centennial. 1 and done for the most part from Osseo, only 1 offensive rebound. It's Cubes with the basketball. All underneath to Geyer, and 1! And Geyer really dominating underneath here. She's got 12 points. And is going to the line to try and finish up a 3-point play. Is Amina Hargrove checking into the game. Also Jalen Choi for Osseo.
Yeah, and you see the size advantage for Geyer, and she's using it. And that is exciting, again, as we get further into this playoffs, if they're the team that moves on here. Just if she can continue to use that. For her senior year, it's just fun to see her go out on top like that.
And the lead is up to 13 here, 25-12. That's the biggest lead of the day. And just over 8 minutes remaining in the first half.
Again, some good patience here by the Orioles, not rushing a shot.
As Choi will try a 3, and the offensive rebound by Corona. And the putback is good. As Corona has 5 points in the game. Again, she averages just 4 per game in the regular season. Osseo extending that defense a little bit now as Geyer giving back inside, and Mulberry traveled before the shot, so it will not count. Substitutions coming in. Megan Stacy for Centennial. Also Grace Pullman coming in. And Geyer will get a rest. Mulberry coming out of the game. Anna Barassa was in and now out as well for Centennial. Cummings and Cubes, the 2 starters remaining in the game for Centennial. Really extending that defense and nearly poked it away. And now controlled by Osseo as Hargrove with it. Far side, Corona, 3-0. And Hargrove the long rebound.
Right now, you can see Centennial working on some things defensively that they'll probably want to use if they move on.
There's Wilson traveling in the lane as well, so a turnover there will give the ball back to Centennial. 11-point lead for the Cougars. It's been consistent. It's that slow burn that I talk about sometimes, where it just continues to build little by little. 2s on one side, 3s on another. Missed free throws on one side, made on the other, and it just kind of slowly builds. There has not really been a run in this game. That's Holman out to Choi for 3. Yes! Jalen Choi, a 5'3" freshman, averaging a little over 5 per game, hits a 3. And it's within 8 now, 25-17.
Yeah, and just as easily as the slow burn built up, it could possibly start to go the other way if they start hitting like that.
There's Cummings off the rebound, no, and the rebound underneath as well for Centennial as Tharp had it. And now going the other way. 3 chances, no points for Centennial. And now driving in is Wilson. Count the basket and the foul. Wilson gets points number 4 and 5. And she can cut the lead down to 5. Foul against Cummings, and that's her second. Marcoya Hughes checking into the game, replacing Corona for Osseo. And the free throw no good as Cummings, who picked up the foul, gets the rebound.
And you think about, again, those little things, how huge that is. It would have been a 5-point game possibly.
And a steal. Here's Wilson driving in and scoring the basket. 7 points now for Wilson. It's a 4-point game. This is the first real run of the game. This is a 9-0 run for Osseo. Here's Cummings to end that one. And just on cue, after a 9-0 run, Cummings hits the 3, and we're back up by 7, 28-21. Choi looking inside. She just hit a 3. And now threw it away. Indecision there. Here's Sydney Cubes driving all the way in and laying it up and in. First points of the day for Cubes, and now a 5-0 run for Centennial. Back to a 9-point advantage, and Cummings pokes it away for Cubes. And back up to Cummings, and she will score as well. 5-0 run for Cummings. Check that, 5 of 7, I should say. Hughes scoring the layup in the middle, and right back up by 11. That's how quickly things can change. Hughes drives in and is fouled, so we'll go to the line. Hughes will be called for the foul.
Number 5, Sydney Hughes, your first. Team sport, tip.
And again, the first free throw is no good. Geyer coming back in. Frost is back in. Anderson as well. Cummings will get a breather. Stacy is out. Tharp is out as well. 4:37 to play in the first half. And 1 of 2 from the line for Hughes. 10-point lead, 32-22. Ooh, nearly a steal there by Holman, as this will come out. A 3 on the way for Pullman is no good. Toy will bring it back. Check that. Holman will bring it back. And the steal there. There's Anderson with the basketball. She'll get behind the defense and score. Count the basket. Second foul called against Wilson. There's an extra burst of speed there right at the end to get behind the defense for Anderson, and she'll go to the line for the three-point play.
Yeah, we're seeing that transition basketball from Centennial, which we've seen a lot this season and in seasons past. And it's fun when they get out and are running the basketball like we just saw Anderson do. But even as we've mentioned, quite a few steals here in the last minute or two, and Centennial typically pretty good at forcing those, and we see that happening more and more in this game.
The 3 there by Brack is no good. Geyer saves it nicely out of bounds to Anderson. And then the pass a little too quick for Frost, and so right back to Centennial.
It was almost as if just kind of when you turn awkwardly and you're not really where the ball is, you can't fully get around to catch it. Seemed like it was close.
12-point advantage for Centennial, 34-22. Under 4 minutes to play. Here in the first half is Holman. Aggressive defense here. And off the bank on a Saturday afternoon, Araya Mitchell rather.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was open on Saturday.
Sure is, in the afternoons, not in the evening.
Oh, okay.
Just in the afternoon. As Anderson double teamed, trapped, now finding Geyer. And back out to Cubes, dials up a 3. And tipped around, and Holman the rebound. Far side now for Hughes. Hughes, pull up, that'll go. The senior, 3 points now in the game. And an 8-point game, very similar to how the first matchup we talked about that first half, as Geyer able to just turn around and hit that one just as she has all day long. So
that was probably the weakest link here for this Osseo team, is trying to find that matchup for Geyer. Geyer's given them quite a bit of trouble there in the lane.
15 points in the first half, and we've got a foul on the far side. And that's going to go against Marissa Frost. Fifth team foul for Centennial. Check that, Anna Barassa, I believe. Oh, check the, wait now. That's Ava Holman. An offensive foul is called. I'm sorry. So Frost not called for the foul. Holman was called for the offensive foul. And so Centennial with the basketball. Each team now with 5 fouls in the first half. Lobs it underneath, and KJ Tharp with a bucket. Her first of the day. And the lead extended back out to 12. Brack driving in, and a little too strong as Tharp gets the rebound, and Centennial's on the move. Anderson all the way to the basket, and good! Jody Anderson, coast to coast. She's got 8, and the lead up now to 14.
You have the vision on the hoop, that's what you're going to see.
And wildly into the lane is Wilson, and she'll go to the line for a pair. And this time it will be Marissa Frost called for the foul, and so going to the line is Alea Wilson, 5'8" sophomore. She is aggressive in the lane.
Yeah, she doesn't need her shoes to stand out, although they do too, but her play certainly stands out on its own.
And a girl with Holman back on for Osseo.
Mulberry back in for Centennial. Second one is good. 40-28 now. 12-point lead. As this ball nearly Gone away. Wilson with 9, and nice inside feed. Marissa Frost now with 5 points. The freshman for Centennial getting in. Side 42-28, a 14-point lead. The lead just continues to grow bit by bit. As the rebound by Tharp. The feed inside to Geyer. She can't get it. Gets her own rebound, but has it knocked away. And Osseo, just over a minute to play in the half. Can they cut the lead to single digits? The drive and scores is Alea Wilson. Lead is 12 now. 50 seconds to play in the half. Mulberry into the lane. Can't get it to go, and a tip ball out as Mitchell. Wilson, 33 seconds to play in the half. Doesn't look like they're playing for a last shot. Holman backing in, now backing out, step back three, won't go. And the rebound by Geyer. And Mulberry quickly up the court to Frost. She drives in, off the glass and good. Nice move by Frost as she cuts across, uses the left hand, and it's 44-30. Pulling back is Brack, and she hits the 15-footer from the baseline. And that is how, well, let's see, a last second shot by Anderson will not go, but a 12-point lead at the half, and Centennial slowly building that lead, but you can see some pieces there for Osseo, some athleticism there that's keeping them in it.
Yeah, the second half is going to be fun as they come back with some of this energy that they showed in the first half.
We will take a break. We are at halftime, and at the half, it's Centennial 44, Osseo 32, and you're watching high school basketball, the section playoffs here on North Metro TV. And we are back here. Started the second half between the number 1 seed Centennial Cougars and the number 8 seed Osseo Orioles. And right now a 12-point lead for Centennial, 44-32, alongside Blythe Whaley. I'm Nick Walsh, and we're glad you're joining us as we are set for half number 2. Osseo gets the ball to start the second half as Orioles trail by 12 and lose the ball initially, but poked away as Brack has it, and quickly up to Wilson. Wilson led the Orioles with 11, as this will be out of bounds to Centennial. Wilson, the only player in double figures for Osseo with 11. Anna Corona with 5 points in the first half. Araya Mitchell with 4. 3 points each for Jalen Choi, Tamia Brack, Marcoya Hughes, and Ava Holman. As the 3 for Cummings is no good. Frost the offensive rebound over to Cubes, who will dial it up for 3. And that's going to go out of bounds, so Osseo will have the basketball. 2 in double figures for Centennial. Jenna Geyer led all scorers in the half with 15 points. Camille Cummings with 10. 8 points for Jody Anderson, 7 for Marissa Frost, and 2 each for Sydney Cubes and KJ Tharp off the bench.
What I'm liking so far, I know we're still in the early seconds of this second half, but you just saw how the Orioles came out of halftime ready. They want to play. They want to make sure this game stays close, and you saw that energy and that spark that we saw a few times in that second half. We talked about that 9-0 run that they had in the middle of that half.
As Anderson slicing through the lane, but can't finish, and the rebound by Corona. Yeah, they definitely are playing with some purpose here, and that's the playoffs. That does happen. And, of course, we talked about it earlier, but they were able to stick with Centennial in the first half in the regular season before things slipped away a bit. This will stay with Osseo out of bounds. And so, you know, obviously the goal here for Doug Erlene's Orioles is to remain competitive. You know, obviously getting a win would be the optimal goal, as this one's tipped away. Frost has it, but you want to improve upon where you were earlier in the season. As Cummings nearly lost the basketball, now turns back, gets the foul in the bucket. Camille Cummings, the first bucket of the second half, 46-32. She'll go to the line to try and make it a 15-point game. You always want to end the season playing better than you began it, and I think it's fair to say, at least right now, I've been very impressed with this Osseo team. As the free throw no good, and Osseo has it. They do not look like a number 8 seed to me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they are putting up a fight. And something, too, to note is in that first matchup, I would say Jody Anderson and Geiger sat a lot more of that first half. And so just to think about what this scoreboard looks like, how close this game has been with them playing still quite a few minutes, even though we have seen them hit the bench.
As the long two by Corona, no good. Centennial with the basketball. And defense, Geyer has been able to find open spaces, and now Anderson for three, no good, but cubes the offensive board. Cummings on the follow through, no good, and Corona the basketball. That zone defense has maybe confused Centennial a little bit. They have found holes and they have found some easy buckets, but they've had to work and do a lot of passing in order to find it. They've had to be patient.
Yeah, exactly. Patience is key. And Geyer, even if she doesn't take in them herself, when she's got open in the lane, she's been able to dump it down even lower underneath the hoop there. And so that's been working for them too. But like you said, patience was that reason why it happened.
Long three for Wilson is no good and out of bounds. So Centennial will get it back here. 15 to play here in our second half. It's a 14-point game as Centennial has led throughout, but Osseo has not allowed this one to get out of hand, at least up to this point. Here's Frost for three, and good! Marissa Frost hits her second three of the game, and it's 49-32, and now it's a 17-point lead, the biggest of the game.
Yeah, and if Centennial starts hitting threes, that will be unfortunate here for the Orioles.
Holman can't finish on two opportunities. Now Cummings on a 3-on-2, back the other way. Anderson pulls up and hits. Jody Anderson makes it a 21-point game. Check that 19, 51-32.
Both of those shots looked very automatic here for the Cougars, and so not taking too much time at all to gain those points very quickly.
19-point advantage now. Centennial has scored all 7 points of the second half as Anderson leaps up to take the steal away, and Anderson accelerates all the way to the bucket. We have seen that multiple times today where she is neck and neck with her defender, and all of a sudden she's behind the defense with nothing in front of her, and she scores, and now it's a 21-point game, and timeout is called as it's a 9-0 run to start this second half for Centennial.
Anderson certainly has that third gear, probably is what it would be called. Seems like she's going in second gear, and then all of a sudden revs it up like you were talking about just at that last second. But of course Centennial, I would say in those first few seconds of the second half, kind of came out a little bit slower. You saw the Orioles really ready for the second half right away out of the gates, but Centennial's taken over.
And so for Osseo, trying to get back to what they were doing best in the first half, moving the basketball, not turning it over when they were successful, and finding some open shots, and maybe most importantly getting to the line and creating those opportunities. Meanwhile, for Centennial, they seem to have figured some things out, and obviously seeing that zone in the second half is you've kind of gotten down what they're trying to do against you, and it makes things a little easier. But so far, it's been all Centennial here in this first 4 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, and that's something too, is Anderson has been a player that of course had some points in the first half, but has contributed a few here in the early minutes of this second half. So they don't want her to get on a roll as well, but Geyer had been that marker who I'm sure they came out in the second half knowing they wanted to for sure stop her.
Mulberry checking in for Frost, and now I'm not sure what's going on with Alea Wilson. She has to, I think, come out of the game. I'm Not sure exactly what happened there, but Jalen Choi will come into the game. Wilson will come out, and I'm really not sure. It seems like it has something to do with the uniform, but
That's what I thought.
well, now she's going to check immediately back in, it looks like. So I don't know. It still has something to do with the, I don't know, the front of the jersey or the waistband or something.
So something I was curious about is I was thinking like if there was blood on her jersey.
Right.
But they didn't change it. It's not. She's, like you said, going to check right back in without doing anything.
As Anna Corona hits a 3 to end that 9-0 run. And the senior has 8 points after averaging 4 through the season. So a nice game for the lone senior starter for this Osseo Orioles. As that's a turnover, and Corona has it again. Holman backing in and losing it, and it's picked up by Mulberry. Centennial in transition. Mulberry goes all the way to the basket, and this is out of bounds, I think. Well, they're going to say it's Centennial basketball. I thought maybe Geyer touched it last, but they'll say it was poked away from behind. And now here comes Alea Wilson checking back in. So not really sure what happened there, but she's back in it. That's Cummings off the inbound. Oh, nearly traveled. And now Anderson.
It almost looks like she's still messing with her jersey right around where they were talking about. So
patient offensive play here from Centennial. Cutter inside. Anderson can't finish. Cubes the rebound and the putback. Back to a 20-point game, 55-35. Cubes with 4 points in the game. Well, we've got a foul. I think they've got away from the basketball. This is going to be an illegal screen, and it's going to go the other way. Illegal screen against Mitchell. And Mitchell picks up her 3rd foul of the game. 12:35 to play. And Centennial has built this lead now up to 20. It was a 12-point game at half. Here's Mulberry for 3. And the offensive rebound by Anderson. Boy, she has just been under the basket throughout the night. 57-35. She's now got 14 points in the game, almost to her average. And the drive, that was all basketball. It'll stay with Osseo. I think probably the best way to describe Anderson's play today is kind of a ball hawk. She's just around the basketball. Cubes will leave. Barassa back in for Centennial. And here's Corona. And now Wilson, under 12 minutes to play. Wilson out now, the long 2 for Mitchell, and the rebound by Mulberry. Centennial could build to their biggest lead today with a basket here. Anderson back to the top, Mulberry around to Cummings. Good ball movement here as well as Anderson will drive. Too strong, rebound, Geyer, putback is good. Geyer had 15 in the first half, but that's her first basket of the second half, and it's up to a 24-point lead. And a blocking foul for Centennial here. They're going to get Anderson with her first foul. That's the first foul against Centennial here in this second half.
yeah, we had talked about in the first half just if foul trouble would become an issue for any of Centennial's key players, how that could change the game. But we haven't seen too many fouls in the second half. Only 11 minutes left in the game. Still some time. Everything can change. You know that, how quickly some fouls can come sometimes, but certainly they're in a good position so far.
Wilson had 11 in the first half. She has yet to score in the second half as the rebound pulled down by Anderson. And she'll go almost to the basket. Pulls up, though, and hits on the turnaround. Jody Anderson is having a really nice game. Now 16 in the game. Things starting to get away here for Osseo with 10:55 to go. It's up to a 26-point lead now for Centennial. Sampe will pull up off the glass. Check that. That's Hughes. Marcoya Hughes now with 5 in the game. And
nice
Barasa.
for the senior to get over her season average.
As we mentioned, young team. Just a couple seniors on this team as Camille Cummings hits a 3 for Centennial. And now up to 27. This is very indicative of the first meeting where it was a close game at half and then Centennial just too much in the second half, and that's what's happened here. And nearly lost the basketball there are the Orioles. Wilson will drive. They'll say, oh, late call there for a foul. That'll go against Mulberry again. And so Wilson, who made a habit of getting to the line in the first half, this is her first trip there in the second half, almost 8 minutes in to the second stanza. Centennial has outscored Osseo now 20-6 since halftime.
Yeah, we talked in the first half, just not too many huge runs by either team. We saw that little bit of a run there for Osseo in the middle of the half, but otherwise just that continual pressure and gradual scoring here from Centennial. But now in the second half, like you said, a lot of things have changed. Centennial really taking over this game.
This is Megan Stacy now into the game, giving off to Frost. Frost double teamed on the block, gets it out to Barasa. Reversal to the far side, and Stacy drives in and scores. 5'5" sophomore, averages 3.5 per game, and she scores for the first time today, 66-39.
But she made that one look like she does it all day. Very confident she drove to the hoop.
In the far corner now for Sampe. She drives but cannot finish, and the rebound by Mulberry. Just not working for Osseo here in the second half. Here's the 3 for Barasa. That's short, but she gets her own rebound on the follow-up and scores. Really smart basketball play by Anna Barasa.
Yeah, it's exciting for a coach to see a player who, yes, they missed the shot the first time, but it doesn't matter when they get their own rebound and follow that up with a bucket.
Little baby hook by Holman, no good, and here comes Centennial again. They can spread it out past 30 as Stacy can't answer, but Barasa's 2, no good either. And the rebound underneath by Sampe.
2 of those offensive rebounds there from Barasa. Some good effort, getting in good positioning.
Holman, the long 3, and now a timeout called after the rebound by Duggar Lean is a 29-point advantage for Centennial, and prior to the rebound shot, Duggar Lean calls the timeout. So 8:33, just over halfway through this second half, and Centennial has opened this up from a 12-point lead to a 29-point lead here in the second half, and that's what you expect out of a number 1 seed. Centennial going into the half, making some adjustments, finding what's working, and then taking advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. When you get into those early minutes, they had that first half to evaluate, like you said, and see what they could do different. And when they can bring it to the table in that second half, they have the time with their coach to kind of lead the way probably and let them know how they can execute and get this game back under control and to a lead that they're used to in some of these games. But this has still been a great matchup between these teams. You see the ladies working hard in this quarterfinal game.
Centennial will come out with Mulberry, Stacy, Tharp, Frost, and Barasa. So 4 out of the 5 starters out of the game right now. The lone starter in is Marissa Frost. As Wilson will have the basketball. Under 8.5 to play as Hughes the turnaround, and that won't go. And that's just been the story for Osseo here. Just nothing really connecting in the second half. And we've got a foul coming up the court, and that might be a frustration foul from Alea Wilson as she picks up her 3rd. Just the 3rd against the Orioles here in the second half. We haven't had many whistles here in this game. It's been a smoothly played game. Wilson swatting at the ball, and Mulberry just swats right back. Stacy giving off now to Tharp, and nice cutter underneath to Frost. Marissa Frost, 12 points in the game, and now over a 30-point advantage, up to 31. And we do have, as that three no good, in the postseason there is still a running time situation as Mulberry swings and swats that one out of bounds. If we would get to 35, we would hit a running time position. So that is, at this point, a possibility that we could get to that scenario. As the three, although it gets more difficult for that when Wilson steps back and drills a three. Cutting the lead now to 28. As Tharp backing her way in, and now back out now to Frost. Frost drives, kicks it out, Barassa long two. And a rebound offensively for Tharp, and he got it across the arms. There was no call here, and the rebound pulled down by Osseo.
Centennial having quite a few second chance opportunities in the second half, and that will bode well as they look possibly to be heading on here in this playoff round.
Wilson getting to the line now. Frost picks up the foul. That's her second. And this is what Wilson did in the first half. Well, they're going to say that was before the shot. I thought that might be a shooting foul, but they'll say it's before the shot. And so Wilson thought about pulling the trigger. Instead, off to Hughes. And tied up, and a jump ball is called. Nice job by Marissa Frost. And it'll be Centennial basketball. For a freshman, I'm really impressed by Marissa Frost. She's just seems to be a really smart basketball player. You don't see many mistakes out of her.
Yeah, and it's been neat to see her transition into that starting lineup here this year and really honing in on that position and helping her team.
Coleman into the game and missing on the three, and here comes the Orioles as Corona drives, and she'll go to the line. And now Grace Pullman picking up her first foul. Looks like we're going to have a line change for Centennial after the first free throw. All starters coming back into the game as Corona hits the first. So Cubes, Anderson, Cummings, and Geyer all coming back into the game now for Centennial. There's the lead down to 27.
Going on for the Cougars, Geyer, Anderson, Cubes, and Cummings.
Second one is good for Corona. Into double figures now is Corona with 10. So again, unless there's a dramatic comeback, this will be the end of the season for Osseo, but a nice game for Anna Corona as Cummings can't finish, and the rebound pulled down by Hargrove.
Yeah, this time of the year, you're always thinking about the seniors on either team and knowing that, of course, it's one of the team's seniors' last game of the year and what that means to them on the court and how they play today.
Another three for Wilson. And now the lead down to 23 is Osseo, another turnover. Boy, it took them a little while to get going, but an 8-0 run now has cut this deficit down some, as that one might have been tipped by Pullman. Hughes put it up, but that one floated around, and now here's Centennial. Anderson will pull up and gets it to go. Jody Anderson with 10 points now in the second half, 18 overall. And the lead back to 25 now. 5.5 minutes to play. Here's Hughes, getting it out now to Wilson. She'll try another three. This one has all air, and it'll go back to Centennial. Geyer electing to just let it go out of bounds instead of taking the chance of tipping it.
Yeah, smart decision. Looked like possibly her balance, too, might have taken her out of bounds if she tried to scoop that one up.
Full court pressure shown now by Osseo as Anderson Blasts right by it. She's going all the way to the hoop, and that's going to be an offensive foul this time. As Anderson accelerating as she often does, but this time the defense was already there waiting for her. And so Anderson picks up her second foul.
I haven't seen a whole ton of offensive fouls. I believe only 2 here in today's game. But that one was pretty textbook.
Pass to Hargrove is tipped out of bounds by Centennial, so it will stay on this side of the floor. As Holman driving in, no good, and the rebound by Cummings. Winner of this game to play on Tuesday night as Cummings drives and scores. And she'll go to the line for the three-point play opportunity. In all likelihood, at this point, it'll be Centennial, and they will host a game on Tuesday night here at Centennial High School.
I always love when players are going to the hole strong, looking to make that bucket. There are certainly players who will just go up and try to get that foul and get to the line, but why not get both like Camille just did?
Back to a 28-point advantage now, 75-47. Centennial little 5-0 run so far. That's Choi. Nice dish underneath to Corona for another bucket. 12 now for Corona. And this one will go out of bounds. It'll stay with Centennial, though. Nice play again by Corona. Only one other player in double figures. That's Alea Wilson for Osseo. He's got 19 in the game. On to the final 4 minutes. There's Cummings. Slides in, a little baseline shot is no good, and Hargrove waiting for the rebound on the strong side. Here's Corona, tries another 3. And the offensive rebound flying in is Holman. And now Brack for 3. That's too strong off the back iron. And we might have a foul there. And I think they're going to get cubes on the foul. They will. And Centennial sending in a full slate of new players. So the starters coming out now. And they will, in all likelihood, move on to the second round. And so a number of new players into the game. Looks like Zoe Schneider, a 5'8 junior, into the game for the first time. Stacy as well. Kelsey Horish, a 5'9 senior, is into the game. And we'll have a foul here. Tharp into the game as well. Stacy and Barassa.
So many coaches just talking that their team is only as good as their weakest link. And when you see different games when players like this are heading into the game and just the starters allowed to be able to cheer for some of these players that have helped them along the way, because in practice, these are the girls that they're heading up against. They're defending them. They're helping them get better day after day in practice. And so always fun to let them get some minutes here and have the starters get to cheer them on.
Second one no good, and so Centennial up by 25. They're going to move on to the second round. The scoop shot is good, and Stacy will go to the line for a three-point play. Nice move, and for Centennial, this is always nice to be able to get all your players in for a playoff game, to say that you played, especially for players like Porish, that maybe doesn't get to play as often as the starters or anything, but as a senior, you like to be in the game and be part of the action as well. 78-50 the score. Wilson looking to create. Now across to Hughes, and that one's all air as the rebound pulled down by Barassa. Into the corner now for Porish. Schneider now with the basketball. The give to Stacy. Under 3 minutes to play. Tharp backing her way in. Off the glass, no good. Quickly up the court now. This is Wilson laying it up and in. And for Osseo, as we mentioned, I'm really impressed. There's a lot of youth on this team. There will be better days ahead, I think, for Doug Erlene's team. And Doug, a friend of mine from a previous life as well. He used to be my broadcast partner. He used to be the one sitting next to me, just like you are today. And so, moving on to the other side of the court for games like this. But let it be known, he still owes me a steak dinner. He has there's a standing bet from a long time ago from a state hockey tournament, and he still owes it to me.
That sounds like one you gotta make sure that you get. It sounds too good to pass up.
Yeah, it's Porish with the basketball, little baby hook, and that will go to go. Kelsey Porish is into the scoring column.
And as you mentioned, a senior getting to score, putting it in the playoff game.
There's the three on the other side by Holman that's no good. I do want to point out, a couple of times Doug has offered to take me to like Applebee's for like the 2 for $20 deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, no. We got to do like Murray's or Manny's. I think that steak dinner was kind of lined up for something like that. There's Tharp missing on the other end.
Yeah, he didn't read the small print.
No, the fine print. There was definitely some contractual obligations to that type of a deal. As Wilson scoring again. 23 now in the game as we approach the final 90 seconds of today's game. And Schneider has it poked away from behind. And the three no good for Wilson, and Centennial as Tharp has the long rebound. So Centennial is going to move now to 18-1 overall as Schneider the three, that was tipped, and Corona the rebound. 18-1 overall, and they'll move on to the semifinal. They'll host a game here on Tuesday night here at Centennial. They'll take on the winner of Champlin Park and Park Center. And at this point, just the final score in doubt. One stays inbound. Porish keeps a hold of it. And now to Stacy. Osseo's season will come to a close at 2-17. This one poked away, and there's something to be said for conclusions, even though, like we talked about in the open, not what you always want, but it's nice to have one at some point too, as opposed to having the season shut down on you and then you kind of wonder what if, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely something you didn't always have to think about, and now with this year and last year, of course, proving that could possibly happen any year. You never know, and now it just makes it that much more special.
And hopefully next time we come on the court for some of these players, Centennial obviously will be here on Tuesday, but for teams like Osseo, hopefully the next time they play in a competitive environment, neither them nor us are wearing masks or doing any of the types of things that we need to do, so we're looking forward to that as well. As that scooped underneath by Hughes, no good, and the rebound by Centennial. 12 seconds to go. If they can get it up the court, they can close her out. Schneider will lay it off the glass and good. Chloe Schneider into the scoring column, and that will be the final play of this one as the Cougars get the win today by a final score of 82-54. A 28-point win as the season comes to a close for the Osseo Orioles, and for the Centennial Cougars, they move on. They'll play Tuesday night here against either Champlin Park or Park Center. Your thoughts from today's action?
Yeah, today was a fun matchup. Getting to see how close this game was at halftime, how hard these ladies came out. Osseo Orioles gave them a run in that first half, and of course Centennial doing what they do best, and that's close out games, and they've got it done in the second half. Of course, really shining a light on Jody Anderson, helping in that second half, really with that surge ahead, but all these ladies on the Cougars really helped in this victory.
And from a North Metro 15 side, stay tuned for any broadcast information for that section semifinal. as that will be on the North Metro 15 website. It's a final score here today. Centennial 82, Osseo 54. Centennial moves on, now 18-1. Osseo's season comes to a close at 2-17. For our man on the camera, Rob Clark, and for Blythe Whaley, this is Nick Walsh reminding you to stay positive and test negative, and we'll see you next time here from North Metro 15. So long, everybody.